warm welcome, members, to this 23rd VCM of Bhinder CP Study Circle. Hope you people are doing well and are in good health and enjoying new normal. Our today's topic is QRMP scheme under GST and important aspects in GST audit financial year 1920. I, C. Ritu Agarwal, Deputy Convener, Bhinder CP Study Circle, welcome our today's speaker, C. Gaurav Save, sir. Welcome, sir. Now I request opening remark for today's session. Nikunj bhai, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ritu madam. Very good evening to all the members and our esteemed speaker for the day, Gaurav ji. It's great to see all the members after a long time. There was literally almost one and a half months hiatus because of all the deadlines. And I know the deadlines are still not yet all done. We have still lot many deadlines and milestones to cover. But as we say, I read somewhere on someone's t-shirt, keep calm and finish your calm. So just take care of your health. All I want to say here, the pressures will always be there. So it will be a double task for us to maintain our health and finish the work that we have on our hands. Today's topic, of course, is very relevant as we think QRMP will be very relevant for all of us right now, all of us who are practicing in GST. And we are very glad to have Gaurav ji today to share his knowledge on this topic. I'm pretty sure we'll have a lot of takeaways from this session. Looking forward to a great learning session. Wish you all the best. Happy learning. Over to you, Ritu madam.
I guess her net is gone. I think it should.
Okay. So I'll take over from here. I now request our study circle member CA Shashank Shah to kindly formally introduce the speaker. Although we know he does not require any formal introduction here. He is very well known and very much liked here. But please, Shashank.
Thank you, Nikunj. Welcome, Gaurav sir, for the session. Gaurav Save is a founder, partner, and a fellow member at ICI. He has taken spoken at various forums of ICI, BCAS, Chamber of Tax Consultants, public awareness camps, trade bodies, colleges, schools, and has delivered around more than 110 lectures in the various parts of India for the topics such as standard credit, topics covering GST law, practice management of a CA office, interplay of GST with income tax, statutory bank branch audit, including LFAR and the IRAC norms. He is also deliberated at the National Conference on GST Certificate Courses of ICI. He is also one of the compiler and the contributory to the Bombay Chartered Accountants Society, a referencer for FY 18, FY 19, 20, and 21 on the various indirect tax topics, including GST and other, and also contributed in the articles for sales tax review, GST PAM, newsletter of the Thane branch of ICI. He is also a contributor to the WIRC manual, reference manual for 2021. Mr. Gaurav ji is a part on the behalf of the firm consultants in the matter of the GST impact analysis, GST trainings, GST-based internal audits, service tax appellate drafting, attending security assessments and the audits, and appeals in the service tax matters. He is also involved in Sabka Viswas Legacy Dispute Resolution Scheme, as well as working with the Department for Special Audits. He has also been a convener of the Shivaji Park CP Study Circle for 1920. He had contributed to various committees of WIRC, such as Digital Accounting and Assurance, for the last 4 years, Study Circle Committee, as well as Seminar, Public Relationship, Member Committee, Indirect Tax Committee, Corporate Commercial Laws Committee of the BCAS. He is also a subgroup member for a representation in law for GST at Bombay Chartered Accountants Society. Apart from this, he is also a volunteer with Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar ji for last 12 years as a part of the various social activities of Art of Living. Sir, we are honored to welcome you for the session, and I hope it will be a good learning session for all the members.
And mind you, just to pitch in between, this is just an abridged version of his profile. The detail would have taken a lot of time. So we have taken the liberty of cutting it short. And with this, over to you, Gaurav. Please take the session is yours.
Thank you, Nikunj. Thank you, Shashank. And thank you to the Binder CP Study Circle. It is indeed a great pleasure to come here. In fact, Shashank, on a lighter note, I am obliged that I was the founder partner of ICAI.
Yes,
So-
sorry, sir.
No worries. It's always, yes, may not be the founder partner, but I think all of us, we are partners with ICAI. So when we are working at or looking at our practice, our main and sole aim should be to uplift always the integrity of this profession, and specifically in today's time when everything is going haywire here and there. Yesterday only there was one protest and something. So all the professionals, whatever they are feeling, but maintaining the integrity of the profession and how we can hold our standards high and prove again and again to the stakeholders, whether it is the government or the industry, that we are indeed the only partners in nation building when it comes to the finance side,
True.
is something which we have to carry forward. So let's see. Now for today's session, generally I prepare PPT, but I told Nikunj also that I won't prepare a PPT because when I started, this is the same session I had given in Goa also 2 days back. But when I was making it, I realized that there are a lot of screenshots to be taken. So instead, I thought let us go live on the portal and do it. At the same time, how many of you have gone through the? I'll unmute all here. No worries. So I'm giving the option to unmute yourself. Participants can unmute one by one, and let me know one. How many of you have gone through the advisory or have any basic idea of what is QRM? Maybe you can raise the hand. I can call out the name from your and you can speak. So
Yeah,
I
that
hope
will be
it's
better.
yeah,
That will be better.
yeah. So you can. I've given the options of unmuting yourself, but just if the participants can raise their hand and they can speak. So this is anyway the study circle meeting. So let us have a discussion here rather than I'm speaking something and then we are going.
क्लास ज्वाइन होगी ना आपको देख रामफल का
Yes, Piyush ji, you want to say something? Piyush Jain. Can you all at least raise your hands that if you have gone through the QRMP scheme or not? So if no hands are raised, then I will assume that nobody has seen through the scheme.
Practically, I guess no. It's just for my clients.
We have a member who has
Okay.
raised her hand.
Shruti Vaidik has raised the hand. Okay, great. So some people have seen. Okay, now I think is the chat box open? Yes, chat box is also open. So can anyone write just your understanding whether Kalpesh has also raised his hand? So he has also gone through it. Great. Can anybody write whether it is beneficial or not, or what would be your decision? Will it be the law point? Would it be the decision to go whether you should go for the QRMP or not, or whether it would be the business angle, or whether it would be the third one would be how much fees are we going to get, so that we suggest the client कि इसमें जाओ या इसमें मत जाओ. Which of the three aspects? Option 1, 2, 3. One is law, option 1 that because of law ये suitable है. Option 2 कि ये businessman के लिए suitable है. Option 3 this is suitable for the professional, the chartered accountant. You can write in the chat box. Whatever you feel, it's no worries. Option 2 by Shruti, 3 as well. Business as well as the professional. Okay. Anybody else? See, we have around 72 participants. Everybody wants to. Yes. Acha. Akash is beneficial for late filers. Saves at least late fee for 2 months. Wow, that's good. Piyush is beneficial for late filers. That is also good. Piyush and Akash, same answers. Good. 2 friends. Anybody else? Suitable where B2C transactions are more. Is it so? So you don't want to go for monthly in that case, you mean to say, right? That instead of filing monthly returns, you can file it this way. But here I can ask one question, Akash, that is, since you have given suitable where B2C transactions are more. So I know other people you might be getting a little bit lost, but just visualize when we are saying it is suitable for B2C transactions, uh, is it only B2C or means when you look at B2B, if you're having more B2B, so that time what will you see in B2B? Whether it is the quantum of the invoices which are issued or quantum of the value of invoices. What is the materiality aspect which you will see in B2B? Say for example, I have a very simple example, 10 lakhs as my billing per month. Okay. Out of that, I issue 2 invoices only of 5 lakhs, nothing else. Or a second example, I have 10 lakhs of invoicing per month and I issue invoices in the value of 10,000, 15,000 to different parties, maybe even small. So what would be a prudent decision? Quantum of invoice, that is value of invoice, right? Not the number. Yes, Rishi? Rishi Agrawal? When you are writing, yes, not the value. You are saying number of invoices. Okay. Number of invoices. Okay, let's see. So any other views anybody has? What I'll do, we'll start with the advisory. They have issued a very good advisory indeed to take the decision. I personally feel whether to take this decision and not. I guess most of the answers have already come. One, yes, for non-filers, there won't be late fees at least for 2 months. That can be a big saving, right? And sometimes by genuine reasons also people delay in filing. So it's okay. And they can at least use the IFF facility which is given there, invoice furnishing facility. So that shouldn't be a problem. Second, when there are B2B transactions are more, yes, that is also correct. Because see, if you have a lot of B2B transactions, you need not keep on filing your 3B month on month basis. It's in the one go, you file it in the end of the quarter and make whatever payment options they have given. You can utilize the payment options and pay your ad hoc amounts. So that can be still better. In case of B2B also it is good. Yes. So in B2B, B2B, it happens like, specifically for quarterly, the issue was coming that because they are filing late, the recipient is not getting the credits because it was not getting reflected in its 2A. Now, since 2B started, we will have a look at 2B also, how it functions. It was not getting reflected in 2A, and then that 20%, which came down to 10%, and now it has started with 5%. So if we are not getting credit and already with restricted credits, the businesses were getting hampered. So people were getting ultimatum that you shift to monthly because unless we see the credit, we won't be leave GST, the regular payments also. So that was one of the issues. So that is the reason where I said quantum in the number and quantum. So in the number, when you are saying, if according to me, if it is small invoices, you can use this for skipping by itself. But even if there are bigger invoices, then you can at least use the IFF facility with quarterly payment option so that filing of return. So the bigger invoices, at least you can keep on uploading on time. Shilpi ji has said here beneficial for people who don't finalize their books in time. They get time to finalize. Yes. And Rishi has exactly now from purchase from quarterly taxpayer is reduced nowadays. Yes. So that is one of the major reasons why this option has been given so that people can use this. So I'll just start with the advisory first immediately, and then I will go live on the session of how and how you should calculate. So this advisory, this is available on the GSTN website. So, I don't know how many of you are trying it, but see, this is a really very good functionality here, help and taxpayers facility. Come down here, these are the help items. So this is the left hand side bottom, help items, knowledge portal. Come to knowledge portal. I went into the file returns and about the scheme. In the scheme, there is this manual and this FAQs also. Manual itself is also in detail. How you should go about it, opting and out. All these aspects are getting covered here. So I'll come to the scheme here. So first, what is the QRMP scheme? It is for the small taxpayers to file their GSTR 1 and 3B on quarterly basis while paying their tax dues on monthly basis through a simple channel. So I'll show you how does this appears on the website also. So this is your portal. This is how it looks. I am going in the return dashboard. Say for the month of January, let me try. What does it show? So here comes your IFF facility. This is where that I've said you can file your invoices on month on. This is similar to your GSTR 1 what you are doing. So table numbers also they have not changed here. If I'm going for selecting the option returns, opt-in for quarterly returns, say for example I'm putting it. So 2021 is the year. This is how my screen is. So everybody has received the message, right? You have been defaulted. All of us have defaulted with this new language here. So by default, it is quarterly. Okay, selection was available from 5th December to 31st January. So they have made the selection of like from today is 30th of January. Tomorrow is the last date for opting in this scheme. Okay, in this scheme, 3B is not applicable to you for the month 1, that is January. 3B is not applicable to you for the month 2. And for month 3, the due date for filing the 3B is 22nd. So this depends upon the state in which you are. Like if you are in the south of the Vindhyas, it is 22nd. If you are in the north of the Vindhyas, it will be 24th. Okay. GSTR 1 and IFF is optional to you. That is either you can file this by 13th of the next month in which the month is completed. If not, then directly at the end of the 3rd month. Together you have to file one. Now can anybody tell me what is this logic of 13th? Maybe in the chat box. Anybody with the logic of 13? I think it is not seen here. So first thing, just make sure that this date which was 31st after the end of the quarter, that has been shifted to 13th every month. Okay, so digit they have shifted 31st to 13th for the quarterly dates. Okay, logic is they are giving you to be on 14th. Okay, that is after the end of 13. So maximum time till which you can upload the invoices is 13. So if I am the supplier and I upload my GSTR1 after, or I use the IFF facility after 13, that is on 14th or 15th, then that particular invoice will get carried forward to the next period and not in this period of 2B. So 2B is something on the basis of which we will be getting the credit. So in case you have to use it, they have given this as the due date, else it is optional. So you may not use it at all. You may not file it at all. So if you have all small invoices and your recipient might not be worried about much about your credit, then you can skip filing the IFF and GSTR1 and straight away file in the third month. Okay. Now coming back here, so this was the eligibility first for the small taxpayer. So eligibility comes here by default. This will come only if you have filed a previous return. Now, is this scheme available to everyone? So no, this scheme is available only to those who are liable to file GSTR1 and 3B returns. Okay, so not for the other type of returns, that is CMP 08 and all. Next, am I eligible for this scheme? So all taxpayers whose aggregate turnover is up to 5 crores in the current and preceding financial year and have filed their last due GSTR 3B. This is important. They should have filed their last due GSTR 3B. Okay. Now, when you are saying that taxpayers whose aggregate turnover is up to 5 crores, so aggregate turnover, we will still have to follow the definition which has been given in the Act. That is aggregate turnover as per the Act, computed on the PAN basis, all India basis taken together. So your total turnover throughout the country on one single PAN should be maximum up to 5 crores, then you will become eligible for this scheme. Now there is a question ahead also. So suppose say like this itself is our number of Karnataka, we are having a number in Maharashtra also. So I have the option here that I can opt in for the scheme in the state of Maharashtra and I may opt out for the scheme in the state of Karnataka. So such option is also available to me. So that is also not an issue. But if my turnover is above 5 crore, even if in one of the state I am below 5 crores, I will not be eligible for this scheme because my aggregate turnover will be crossing 5 crores. How do I avail the scheme and opt out if they don't wish to continue quarterly filing? Okay. So if I don't wish to continue, simply this quarterly I'll have to change to monthly. And if I click save, it will get saved. Is this clear? This is a simple way of opting out to the scheme. I'll select the frequency. The moment I select the frequency, my due dates are getting changed here. It becomes 11 after the end of the month and 22nd after the end of the month for the payments. But if I come to quarterly, then this option is coming. Is this point clear? Can anybody, maybe the conveners, they can say yes or no because I'm not able to see the chat box here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then coming here, how can I avail or opt out of the scheme? So availment and opting out, both they are given. So 2 months prior to the start of the quarter and 1 month in that quarter. So that is the period in which you can take this decision of opting in and opting out. So till tomorrow, you have the option to opt in. So you are by default opted in if your turnover was below 5 CR as per their calculations. I'll come to that aspect also, how they are calculating. As well as you have filed your previous return, that is November's return in due date. So in December, they have by default opted you in the scheme. Okay. If you want to change it, your time till tomorrow, that is you want to, no, I don't want any झंझट, मैं महीने के महीने करूँ and एक due date मेरा कम हो जाएगा because इसमें एक additional due date आ रहा है. There is a different date by which you have to pay the taxes. Okay. So if you don't want that, no hush bush, then you can opt out of the scheme. Then ये 3 महीने का time limit है, nothing great in that. So just 2 months before the start of the quarter and 1 month in the quarter, you still have the time. This quarter you can take one decision, next quarter you can take another decision. So that is on you, whatever you want. But yes, So first point which comes in, how much is the late fees which I bear in case I skip it. So in such cases, what happens, if you have the number of files which you as a professional are handling are huge, okay, and there is a sizable number of files in which there are nil returns. So in those cases, you can opt out for this. So you spread your compliance. If you are purely into compliance, so you spread it in one or the other date, so that there is not much of the issue. Otherwise, in such cases also, you can anyways finish it by the starting. But even if you miss by any chance, there is no late fees. Because otherwise, for nil 3B also, you have to pay your late fees. So that option or that benefit you can always claim here. Do I need to enter the scheme every quarter to avail? No. So once you are opted in, you will be there in the scheme unless you opt out. So till the time in the next month you don't opt out, you will be by default in the scheme. Like in this case, here our now this save button has become activated because I have already shifted from month to quarter, right? But this save button, since it was blocked, that means I have already opted in. Maybe say I'll show you in the another login. See, here the save button is already blocked in. Okay, so since this is the default option which is been selected, that is quarterly, so every month I need not check it. So once I am there, it's okay. Next month I can change if I want. I can shift it to monthly, and then it will go. My aggregate turnover is less than 5 CR, but still the system does not allow me to opt in. So here on the self-service portal, they have given the link. You can lodge your grievance and you can have it. I have multiple GSTs on the same PAN in different states. Can I opt into the frequencies? So here I have given you the example. Yes, you can opt in for different frequencies. That is, for one state, you can opt in for quarterly. Another state, you can opt in for monthly returns, provided your total aggregate turnover is below 5 CR. From when is the scheme applicable? This is okay. I have received an email saying that I have been defaulted. That means you have defaulted. So I have given that option also to everybody. The defaulted means the language, of course, was not correct. Maybe that was a time when everybody, it was difficult and nightmare to explain all the clients that yes, everything has been filed in time. There is no default which has happened. It is just that the department has used the new terminology of defaulted to the word you have defaulted. Okay. Okay. Now, what will you have? So if you are not eligible, okay, I'm eligible but was not defaulted. So that might have happened if you're on the day when they have done or taken this action. If you have not filed a return, previous return, immediate previous return on time, like today's date, if you have to go for it, then at least the December return should have been filed because due date of December has already passed. Okay, so if that has not been done, then you can always go in from this login your services returns and opt in for quarterly, and you can, if you are eligible, search here and you will get this option here. Okay, now question is, how do I check my aggregate annual turnover? Say for January, I'm coming here. I think that screen, because it has been selected already, the screen is not available here. Maybe I'll show you in the FAQs where they have given that screen. Okay. Now, what do we need to do in the first 2 months of the quarter? Okay. Now, as we saw here, right? As we saw here, it is saying the 3B is not applicable for first 2 months. Also, the GSTR1 or the IFF is optional. I may or I may not file those things. Okay. So what actually needs to be done? So you can generate a payment challan for the first 2 months of the quarter. You have an option to either self-assess your liability or pay 35% of the cash liability paid in form GSTR 3B for the last quarter, where it is a quarterly return, and 100% of the cash liability paid in form 3B for the last month through a challan. However, you do not have to take any action in the following cases. Okay, so two aspects are coming here. One, you need to generate a challan. Okay, so there are two options here. It is not that higher of the two is what you have to pay. Okay, so one, you can either self-assess your liability. So if you feel that your self-assessed liability is lesser, you can take that option, or you can pay the 35% of the cash liability which is paid for GSTR 3B. Okay, and you have to pay that through a challan. Now, interestingly, I went to the payments option here to create a challan, whether I am getting any option, because the other options do not seem to be in line with this. So in create challan, at least I have not found a specific challan which is being showing or which is getting selected for this. So other option here remains is hello. Okay, so this option is not there, but these are the two options by which you have to do it. Either self-assess your liability. So whatever it is, like the service tax era, wherein month on month you are calculating your liability and then you are filing the return after 6 months. So you will calculate your liability on your own, maybe in your Excel or whatever, and then keep on paying that much amount by the due date. And once the quarter is completed, you can complete it. Or if you don't want to do that lot of tedious calculation, then simply pay 35% of the cash liability of the previous quarter. So if you're in quarterly return, then previous quarter, that is the total 3B for the quarter. And if you are in the monthly returns, then previous 3B of the last month, whatever you have paid. So accordingly, you can pay that form. Now, you don't have to take any action if the aggregate balance in your electronic cash ledger and trade ledger is greater than the liability. So but natural, when the net basis of interest had come in, so final decisions and amendment was very clear that if you are already having a balance which is lying in your credit ledger, then the money is lying with the government. And if the money only think that it was not appropriated, so since the money is lying with the government, there is no question of interest on that. On a similar analogy here, so if there is a balance which is lying in your credit ledger, it is but natural that you can always use that balance for netting of your liabilities. Okay. Or if there is a huge balance, say for example, in 1 month you have paid, instead of 10,000, you have paid 1 lakhs by mistake. That excess balance is being left in your cash ledger. So in such a case, if the balance is already there, the opening balance of that month is already greater than the liability, then you need not take any action. Or if you simply have a no or nil liability, you can simply skip it. Somebody has said that there is no question of then non-filing fees also, because you may simply skip it. When you should do this payment, so it is by 25th of the next month. So for example, for March, it will start from 1st of February and the challans can be generated by 25th of February. However, there may be instances where date may be extended by the government. So government is very well assured that they will increase the dates also wherever necessary. What is self-assessment of liability? That means you calculate your taxes for the month by ascertaining outward supplies during the month and your available input tax credit. Challan may be generated. Okay, of seller, please note that while generating this challan, please choose monthly payment for quarterly returns as the reason for making payment. Okay. So I think it should come from here. Services, user services, and maybe my option. Let's see. That option is not yet available here as well. Monthly payment for, so let's wait. Either see if it doesn't come separately in your payment side, then this is the other place where they can say, give you that option. So only two of the places from which you can make the payment, either through the user services or the payment. Payment, it is very clear. There is no other option here. You have to simply create a challan. But this tagging, this is important. We'll have to select this. So maybe on 1st of February, we can always see that whether such drop-down option is available to us. But make sure when you are in quarterly returns, you select this properly. Because what will happen, when you are selecting this properly, then the amount which you are paying in your cash ledger, that will get blocked till you file your 3B for that particular quarter. If you are not paying through this challan, then that will be open cash ledger, and once it is open cash ledger, it is subjected to refund also. It's open for you to claim the refund. So in such cases, they won't consider it. Even the amount is lying in your cash ledger, they won't consider that the amount is being available here in your cash ledger. Okay. Now, how do I generate a challan? To view detailed instruction on generate, click here. So let's see. Creating challan, given the user manual. An interesting part, they have given the hopefully this should come here. So they are saying without logging on to GST portal, you can simply create this challan. From services, create challan, enter your GSTN. Okay, you create a challan, pay all the things. Total challan value is coming. E-payment, generate challan, banks, GSTN for verifying. But this is your normal challan. There is nothing, this one particular part which they are asking. So let's wait till Monday that this option is activated, monthly payment for quarterly returns. Okay, so this will keep your amounts blocked in. And as what is given here, services, as what is given here, this will get activated against or adjusted against this month 1, month 2, and so on. Okay. If I have deposited cash in the first month, can the same be accounted for adequate cash in the cash ledger for second month? So no. Now why is it no? Some time ago I just told that the excess cash which is there in your cash ledger can be considered. So this is no, or this will become no only when you are selecting this monthly payment for quarterly return. So when you are saying it as a monthly payment for quarterly returns in that specific challan, so that means that cash gets appropriated against that one particular first month or second month, as whatever the case may be. So that is the reason, that is a self-assessment, and that self-assessment can be completed only and only when you file your quarterly return. Till the time you don't file your quarterly return, this particular cash is not freely available. So make sure when you are making this payment, don't make excess payments also when you're using this option. Excess payments, if any, is to be done for any reason. Sometimes it may happen that a taxable person may be traveling, so he may say that keep the amount in the cash ledger, I am traveling, and then you can freely utilize to file the returns later on. So in such cases or any other issues come like that, then you can simply keep it in cash and then appropriate accordingly. Okay. If I have not deposited, so yes, I have given the answer no. No means no when you are using the option monthly payment for quarterly return. It may be noted that cash deposited in first month against your liability. What they are saying is against your liability for the first month cannot be considered for balance for your electronic cash ledger for the second month. The action is to be taken in second month should be considered on base of cash ledger, balance in cash ledger. That is the open balance after deposit made for the first month. Okay, so automatically when you are going in your cash ledger, you will come to know what is the available cash to be utilized for the second month and how much of the cash is already appropriated towards the first. The second option which was available, one is the self-assessment, second is what is the 35% option. So if you do not want to self-assess the tax, you can simply go on 35% of net cash paid by you in the last quarterly return, or 100% of the net cash you have filed in the last GSTR one. Now anyways, we need not do on any calculations here. This will be auto-calculated, system-generated challan. So only thing you will have to just check whether it is correct and all. Interesting part, taxpayers may note that no interest would be payable in case the tax due is paid in first 2 months of the quarter by way of paying deposits of auto-calculated system challan. Okay, so if you are using their system challan by 25th, then there is no interest liability also. Now I don't know where they have made all these amendments in the laws, but as all of us know that system rules over the law over the period. This is how it is happening. If the anyways, because it is for below 5 crores, so the taxable person involved will anyways be smaller one. So nobody in this case would otherwise also go on fighting. So this is something which either you accept, this is what we are giving, or else you forget. At some places I see 100% auto population instead of 35%. Why is that? So if your last 3B filed was for complete quarter, then the system will generate 35% for your quarter. Okay, so if you are not use the monthly payment facility in any of the quarter, straight away you are going for the final 3B in that quarter, then in that case, in the next month, it will be always on the 100% of your last month's net cash paid. Okay. Is everyone allowed to file self-assessment? So yes, it can be done by all quarterly taxpayer. However, 35% will not be made available to new taxpayers because they don't have the previous period's liability to be assessed. Taxpayers who have opted out of the composition scheme. Again, the reason being because in composition, the method of calculation of tax was different. So once they have opted out of composition and coming in quarterly, the base for their calculation would be different. And those who have not filed at 3B. So of course, if 3B itself is not filed, and there is no question of calculation on the basis of this 3B. Is it mandatory for exercising the same option for both the months? No. So in 1 month, I have very specific calculation. I can go for self-assessment basis. In another one, there are quite a few tedious options, and I feel that 35% is a decent amount as per the turnover, or maybe there are some cash flow issues, so I can still go for 35% option as per my choice. So in each of the months, you can swap between your options anyhow, whichever way you want. Is there any late fee for delayed payment of tax for any of the first 2 months? No, interest only. There is no late fee for delayed payment. Somebody of the participant has given this as their view. And yes, this can be one of the good reason for opting in for the scheme. So that in cases where we generally find there are regular late fees because of the delayed payments, maybe even for 1 or 2 days also, they can go in for this system and save on their small outgoing costs. How do you know my challan history? So that it is available in your payment. So as regularly, if you go in the payments, save challan and challan history, that will make you available. Can I request for a cash ledger refund of any amount which is deposited in M1 and M2? So cash ledger refund can be completed only and only once you file your 3B. Because see, 3B will appropriate the amount of cash or the credit which you have utilized against the actual turnover of that particular quarter. So once that is appropriated, then that excess amount, whatever is there, that can be freed. But if you are not appropriated itself, then having given you the option of self-assessment, having given you the option of 35%, there doesn't arise any question for them to give you the refund. So that money will at least get blocked for 2 months. So here they have given an example. If any amount has been deposited for month of January, it will be allowed for refund once 3B for the quarter ending March has been filed. So once you file 3B for March, maybe say even on 1st of April, your money will get released. Can I utilize the amount deposited in M1 and M2 for any other purpose, say for DRC03 and all? So no, you cannot use it. That will be available again only and only after your quarterly refund is fine. Now 2A and 2B, can anybody give their views? Maybe in the chat box before I move on. Akash has meanwhile given here quarterly filers. Does we have the option of existing return and QRM or only? No, so all the quarterly filers have that option. As I've shown, you can always switch between that option. So by default, they are making you a quarterly filer if you have filed your previous return in time. Okay, but you have the option if anybody wants. Like now, since this quarterly system has come, it's okay. But otherwise, in one of our clients' case, they were not a very big client, so ranging somewhere between around 2 CR and so. I think around 1.5 only. So they were having that option of quarterly in the previous era, and they were dealing with all big companies. Two of their clients were both very big and kind of listed companies. So the recipient had a system that they will release the payment, not only GST, but the payment only if the invoice is available in 2 weeks. So that was their internal SOP. So in those cases, we were opting for a monthly return in those cases. For such people, we can always go for a quarterly scheme. In 35% option, if we pay in IGST, then liabilities comes in other act, then can be utilized in that. Now, see, this is a very interesting question which they have not covered in FAQ, but I think now PMT 0606 only, right? Which is there to swap your liability. So when you are filing your 3B and appropriating it, okay, then that swapping option should be made allowed to you. Now, let us see very practically how does it happen, but it has not been covered in the FAQs at least, and practically we will come to know only after this quarter is been started. This is a good question. In fact, I would say that if you pay in IGST and the liability comes in CGST and SGST, then yes. So technically they should allow you by some option in the PMT 06, and you can change the headings of the taxes which has been paid, but the period may remain the same. Okay, so that option can always be given, because yes, in many of the cases it may also happen that अभी के लिए तो टैक्स भर दे, बाद में देखते हैं उसका ऑप्शन क्या है, सीजीएसटी, ऐसा भी कभी-कभी सर्विसेज के केस में काफी बार हो जाता है. गुड्स में इतना इश्यूज नहीं रहता है, but services में by the time you get some opinion and all, you may want to issue this, or else the better way would be in this, since you are knowing it, you file if they are not giving this option of swapping, you file as it is with IGST, and then with the use of the credit note for the taxation purpose, you can reverse that portion and rectify the same. So that is the wrongly collected tax you can reverse, and the correct tax you can issue a further debit note and use it. So here I was asking the questions on 2A and 2B. Any views on that, or anything else still on this particular first aspect of QRMB? Any late fee if we go for IFF and file it? No. IFF is optional, so no late fees for that. You may file, you may not file. It is optional. See, I will again show it here. GSTR 1 or IFF. This is optional. Right hand side. Month 1, month 2. Last month you have to file it together. Month 1 and month 2 is optional. You may file, you may not file. So the question generally comes is whether my whether my recipient needs the credit immediately. That is my call, whether I should keep on filing IFF every month or not. Otherwise, I can simply do the self-assessment and file, or even forget that, assuming nothing is. Is there anything pertaining to time of taking credit for 2A and 2B? Yes, so that is one of the aspects. So anything what anybody knows here about 2A, or something which you are finding difficulty in 2A, that might be the reason they have brought about 2B. Any guess, even if you have not read it, any guess why 2B is here? So Rishi, you meant to say that because of GSTR 9, the table 8 anyways never tallies. Okay. So auto compute of 2A. Okay, that detail is mismatched with invoice wise details given by portal. In fact, I think till today's date nobody is able to know where those figures are coming, but may not be that reason. Sanuj is because it gives details of actual file returns in 2B. Okay, because 11th is the cutoff date for following 36.4. Okay, 2B is not dynamic and thus gives invoice. This is a good answer. 2B is not dynamic, thus gives invoice reporting during the period, whereas 2A will respect. Yes. So you know one thing now. Say for example, take an example. We are in the month of January. It is getting completed. Okay. Assume that I had filed my December return in time. Okay. It will get reflected in my December 2A. Now, suppose any transaction of October, if I file that in the month of December, or I amend that in the month of December, where will it get reflected? Yes. Transaction of October. Let's speak only about 2A. Transaction of October. I am filing it in the month of December. A will reflect in December only. December only. 2A of October. October only. Wow. So yes, 2A will reflect in October and 2B in December. Okay. Yes. So 2A gets updated with the date of invoice. Okay, it will go backdated, and that is the reason 2A is dynamic. It keeps on changing. But what happens in 2B? 2B, once it is closed, this date is given here, right? 13/2. That is the maximum time by which you can file. 11 was for the GSTR ones, and 13th is for this IFF or GSTR one for the quarterly. Once that is filed, your 2B is available on 14. Now, by any chance you file your GSTR 1 on 14, it will not get reflected. So this December return, you have filed on say 14th of January. Okay. So none of your December invoice will be available in your recipient's 2B for the month of December. Now, yesterday only I got a call from client, sir, हमारा तो दिख रहा है और client को दिख नहीं रहा है. मैं बोला कभी फाइल किया तुमने? तो बोले 17 तारीख को. तो उनको बोलो नेक्स्ट मंथ में दिख जाएगा. अभी टेक्निकल ग्लिच है. तब तक उसको भी पता चल जाएगा कि ये टेक्निकल ग्लिच वगैरह कुछ नहीं है. This is simply that you have delayed in filing your GSTR 1. Okay. So to be they are making it static so that at one particular cutoff date, your credit which is available to you is getting reflected to you. At the same time, any earlier, like say take again the example in the same example, December I am filing late, or December even if I am filing in time, but I am considering certain transactions of October. In the month of October, they were never shown in my 2A. That is why I might have not considered that 10% excess. Now, when it is coming to December, will I go back and do those calculations? If you remember, maybe in all the Vasai branch study circles, that time I have made one statement that is sheerly impossible, and you can skip doing that 20% or 10%. At that time, it was 20%. You can simply skip doing that. Because by the time this 2A comes on the table of the assessing officer, it would have been changed like anything. So you can take those things. But now they are giving you exactly that reconciliation. They are giving you exactly that how much has been reflected in your 2B, which was not there in the last month. So that at least exact amount is coming to you. On that basis, additional 5% you can take and go on. So your reconciliation amount is coming to a very clear terms. Okay, so 2B, yes, somebody has written here. So it is nothing but a draft 3B. So it will tell you that how much you can actually take in your 3B. So even import IGST is not showing. Input IGST will be shown in 2B now. It is seen in 2B, not in 2B. Okay, so this was one of the prime reasons that they are making it static. So 2A is okay, it will go on matching here and there, but 2B is something which would become your base on the basis of which you can actually take your ITC and do that ITC for your option. I mean 35%, if we pay in IGST, then liability. I think I have gone up in the question. Sir, whether to avail ITC as per 2A or 2B? 2B. ITC has to be taken with 2B. No doubts in that. On annual basis, you compare that with your 2A, but on month-on-month basis, it is with the 2B, because your updation. So as I said, October, if I've skipped anything, I've filed my December in with my December return, say before due date on 10th of January. All of that will get available in my 2B of December with the dates. I will show one 2B also here, so the ideas will get clear. I think we had a broader discussion here. See, for example, this is how your 2B will look. Or I'll just show from where you can download the 2B. So see, if I go for January, and if I select 2B, it is saying that it can be done only after the last cutoff date, that is 13/2. Till that, it is not available. Okay, but if I go for December, hello, hello, just 1 minute. Huh? Hello, am I audible? Can anybody
Yes, sir, you
confirm?
are audible. Yes.
I think there was a misconnection. So this is the 2B.
Sir,
This is
screenshot is
how it.
not available, I guess.
Yes,
Share screen is not available, I guess.
share screen is not available. Yeah, I'll just do that again. Okay, so this is how my. Okay, then I'll just go back and show. This is my return dashboard. So January it was not seen. I think you all must have seen that message, but I'll just show it again. Now, since January 2B, if I'm going for viewing it, the cutoff date is 13/2. Till 13 February, people can file their returns, either that IFF facility or the GSTR ones and all, as maybe the due dates. Okay, so that's why 2B is not available. But if I come here, December, December, since everybody must have filed or may not have also filed, but since 13 January has been crossed, my 2B gets available here. So it's some, as somebody said, it's a replica of 3B. I am coming here, getting here of table number 4, the ITC table, and it is showing ITC not available also. So I'll show this. These are really interesting features here, and how all the tables are coming will come here. So let me show you this form. You can download that. See here, the right hand side bottom. So on the screen, it will come on top. Download Excel. This is the option which you get. This is how your Excel will. So here your GST and legal name. So this is one of the client I have taken because I wanted to show the other features also. So we have generated this, the date of the, now this downloading we are done on 27, but date of generation, they are still keeping it as 14/1. That is after 13th Jan is closed. This is closed. So next generation or January generation will only be 14/2, irrespective of the date on which. So that itself says that this is a static one. I have downloaded this on 26th, I guess 25th, but still the date was showing as 24th. So whatever transactions have been done after that, that will go in the next month. Now this is how your replica comes. Now if this is a positive, credit may be availed under the table. So they are giving you an option, may or may not be. Okay, but still you have the option of going. And if it is more than that 5% now, so that column will become red, but it is not that you cannot take something more than this. Okay, these supplies shall be declared in this form they are giving. Now, if I come to ITC not available, such credit shall not be taken. Can anybody guess what kind of credits they are identifying here? See, the system is identifying from the invoices that this credit is straight away not available to you. Yes, anyone? Maybe I cannot see the chat box, so if you can write it in the
Sir, it may be the returns filed after October. for the last year 1920.
Okay, interesting. Yes, and plus one, I think that, yeah, filed after 13. No, filed after 13 shouldn't be an issue. Filed after 13 will anyways not come here, will not get captured here. But October, somebody said that is 16/4 timeline not fulfilled. 16/4 timeline, 16/4 timeline. Okay, so you mean to say by September? That is the October one. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Conflicting in section 16/4. Yes. So 36/4 is anyway challenged. I will not speak on that now because that becomes a separate topic only. So by the time court comes with a decision, let us assume that we have to follow 36/4 as it is. The system, how it is in front of us, because we are in a practical session today and not in a legal topic. So I will not comment on the legal aspects. There's one more reason, means 17/5. Some aspects of 17/5 can be automatically identified also, right? So I'll show you this interesting part. So see, this is B2B. How my this is my B2B. Okay. Now, say I have already applied a filter here, whether it is reverse charge or not, and all this taxable amount. Simply using this ITC availability. So yes, these are, yes means it is principally available. After that also it is our responsibility when we are filing that whether this ITC is actually available or not available. So eligible, ineligibility criteria we have to do when we are doing the self-assessment of the 35%. At the same time, when we are doing the filing of 3B, whether it is monthly or quarterly. Okay. Now say for example, I'm selecting this as no. So wherever I'm selecting no, I'm getting these reasons. POS of supplier, place of supply and supplier state are same, but recipient state is a different state. So, but natural, this is something which is there in your hotels, right? So by hotel itself, by name, they have identified that this is a hotel Flaring, okay? Or maybe this is Sriram Hospital, or maybe they must have tagged in by the services which that particular vendor, when he has done his registration, he has selected, and default, they are saying that this won't be allowed. Okay, so see, POS as a supply. And this is what somebody referred. Return filed post annual cutoff date. That is the annual cutoff date was due date of September, not the September return. It is the due date of filing of September return. That was 20th after the end, or that 31st for the quarterly and whatever it was. Okay, sorry, 11th and 31st. So if somebody, this fellow, he has filed on 18th. Okay, the period was of December 18, but he has filed when? He has filed in the month of December 20. So late. Okay, so here this has overridden with the return filed post annual cutoff date. So we were always feeling that अगर 2A में आ रहा है तो ले लो, उसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है? या सितंबर के बाद फाइल किया तो भी 2A में तो दिखता है. So अभी ये सारी चीजें बंद हो जाएंगी. It will get restricted to what you have filed with the timelines which are given in section 57. Okay. Prima facie, they are identifying here. Maybe if there is a car vendor, okay, and it is a passenger car which is being sold, which is below that 12 seaters capacity, then also they will keep here. They may give those reasons. So this was not specifically I have seen, but you may come out with the reasons which are very specific from 17/5, or maybe from the insurance also. If they know that by default, I am in an industry, like we have registered as a chartered accountants, right? As a professionals, accounting and all those courses which we have selected. So they know that there is no mandate for us to have the insurance for the employees, right? So if tomorrow any insurance ITC is being generated on our firm by any reason, maybe even it is Keyman or anything else, or so accordingly they may simply mark this here. So this is a very good option also for us while we are doing the audits. Okay. At the same time, when you are working, so at times when the client doesn't give you the details, at least you can just have a look at this and close these options. Somebody had referred to the ITC also. So now see that ICE get, see this is the import of goods on SEZ. So the SEZ IGST I am getting, as also the import of goods on overseas bill of entry. So here, what is my ICE get reference date, the port code, that is on which port, this is BOM is Bombay. So JNPT port, whichever it is coming, the number, bill of entry details are coming here. Okay, so these details. Similarly, if I have taken any import from, like in this case, they have taken from Cipla, that is Cipla had given it for domestic home consumption, release the goods. So they have paid the duty there and they have taken IGST, so that can be taken. Now in this case, the client is not an ISD, so ISD credits are not coming, but if any ISD credits were to come here, that will all come here. For B2B, credit notes and debit notes will also come here. See, like the SpiceJet has given a credit note here. So this much amount will also get reversed. Okay. So very good feature here. You can work and check these aspects. And one. So this is this very small amount. Amendments, there is nothing. If I come here, central tax. So this is 7931. ITC not available. 7931.47, right? Yeah, and 5828. If I come to integrated tax, 5828. That amount is automatically getting captured here, right? If you go for ITC available, then this will be net of your credit note. Your credit note effects, whatever they are. So let's see the values 925395. It's coming. Okay, so they are not given any effect of credit note. So that you will have to do it manually then. Import of goods is coming separately, as what we have seen from the overseas. So credit note effects, if any, you will have to give it. That is not been auto calculated. Oh, sorry, it is coming here below. Sorry. This is my credit notes. 119340. So this is how your 2B will function. So is it clear again? 2B will get blocked on 13. Whatever filings has been done in by 13, that will come in this month's 2B. From 14th till next month's 13 will come in the next month's 2B. Okay, and this will become your base for taking the file. Now somebody asked the question whether you should take for 5% 2A or 2B. Okay, now interesting part, I was just discussing it with somebody. I'll just read out the language also, maybe right here. If you go to rule 36.4, it is saying that ITC can be availed by registering in respect of invoices or debit notes, the details of which have not been furnished by the suppliers under subsection 1 of 37 in form GSTR 1 or using the invoice furnishing facility. Now, when you are saying form GSTR 1 or the invoice furnishing, that means your QRMP facility is being getting covered here as per the amendments, and that has to be furnished by the supplier under 31. So what is being supplied by the furnisher in 37.1 can be in your 2B also. So I think they will more precisely restrict themselves to 2B rather than 2A, because 2A goes on changing or shifting your sides, and that is a very dynamic statement. So every month it would be difficult for you. 2B being a static statement, you can always have it exact basis for the calculation. Let us go back to the advisory. Sorry, quarterly taxpayer, will I see my 2A and 2B also quarterly? 2A, 2B will be continue available every month. 2B's quarterly view will also be made available. This will be made available under the return tab for the month. Okay. Filing the form 3B, is there a way to deposit made by me? Yes, there is a separate tab displaying cash challan generated for this purpose. So let's wait for Monday. We will be able to see these challans. Okay. Last day of filing 3Bs, as I said, generally if we say it is south of the Vindhyas or maybe Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh also added in this, and the north of the Vindhyas is 24. Late fees for 3B and 1 for quarter is applicable for delayed filing. Okay, for 3B and 1. So after the end of the quarter, if you are late, then it will be applicable. But in between those first 2 months, you may save on your fees. What is invoice furnishing facility? Additional facility. So as I said, it is a facility in which you can, similar to your GSTR1, but you will be allowed for filing only B2B invoices and all, at least of your bigger clients wherein the credits are getting locked. Compulsory file my invoices every quarter? No. So I may use that as an optional facility. Will this option be available every month? So yes, it is available every month, but only till 13th. The 13th, as we saw there, that it is getting locked. Will my recipient view these invoices in 2A? Yes, all the invoices filed by you will be in 2A and 2B. And as I said, if it is of the previous month, it will go in 2A dynamically of that respective month. If it is of the previous month and filed with this month, then it will come in 2B of the current. Do I have to re-enter the details entered through the invoice furnishing in GSTR1 for the quarter? No. Once filed, the same did not be filed again for. So it will get captured for your GSTR1. So balancing, if anything, if you have missed out, you can do it. Quarterly filers file nil returns through SMS also. This is, I think, 14909. Yeah, 14409. That is the number and this is the code. You can simply send a message from the registered person's mobile number and the return will get filed. Will refund be allowed? Only after, as I said, only after filing of 3B for the quarter end, because that is how it will get appropriated. By that time, it won't be allowed. I think one aspect which was left here, I think since I have already saved it, that option is not there. Let me check out. Aggregate, I'm sorry, I'm not able to locate it here. In the last session which I provided, it was available when I was selecting the frequency. I think maybe in the last time since I have selected that. That option of aggregate turnover. So now they have shifted it to your annual aggregate turnover. When I'm coming on this ledger balance, I'm getting this annual aggregate turnover. So by default, they calculate it here and give it to you. Financial year 1920, it was up to 5 CR. So how do they calculate? That complete methodology is given here. It is basically if you are registered on or before 31st March 20, that is last year. Okay. Then if you're an active person, then that will be considered. And if you're new taxpayer after 30, then number of 3Bs. So it is per month wise 3B would be considered here from the date of registration. Okay. And if you are migrated on or before 30th April, the number of 3Bs eligible or liable to be filed is fixed as 12. Migrated means basically current day migration is available for your composition to the regular taxpayer. If it is a cancer taxpayer, then how much ever 3Bs which were supposed to be filed in this number of months, that would be considered. Detailed, they have given the scenario, withdrawals and all. Okay, if the month comes in fractions, then you have to consider it as a higher fraction. Come here, the extrapolation of turnover. So GSTN wise 3B turnover for a year has to be extrapolated by total turnover declared as per all the 3B filed divided by number of 3Bs which are filed. So suppose say total turnover which has been declared is 90 lakhs. Number of 3Bs filed is 9 lakhs, so it becomes 10 lakhs as a fraction answer. And eligible to file, that is eligibility how we calculated here, is initial parts. Okay, the calculation of months. Taxpayer who got registered are being complete. If it is 30th, then 3B eligible to file will be fixed at 12. If new taxpayer after 30, the number of 3G eligible or liable to be filed is months between 31st March and date of registration. So accordingly, that eligibility will come and you have to multiply that with the eligibility and you get the extrapolation of the turnover month-wise. Similarly for CMP 08, okay, and you add both of them. So 5A and 5B together will give you the aggregate turnover, and such aggregate turnover has to be arrived at PAN level or rolled up at PAN level to check whether you are actually in the. So by default, they will calculate this for you. If you have any queries or any objections, then only you can use this methodology. And if there is any discrepancy, then immediately they have given the self-service portal for discrepancy. You can go to the self-service portal, and in this self-service portal, your report issue. So you can type the issue of concern, advanced search, and whatever you want to do here. File it. Okay, just type. These options are available here. Case empty error in filing withdrawal, payment. Maybe somewhere here they must have given mismatch in turnover. In fact, this is a very good facility which you can otherwise also use for mismatch in ITC in 9 and get your grievances at least reported there. URMP change default. Aggregate turnover that is not being seen. You can always file your grievance here, report the issue, and then check the status on the report. That will be only on for the borderline cases. There are certain transactions, whether they are to be added in the annual turnover or not, have to be considered. Anything else on 2B and QRMP? Else we'll just quickly run through the GSTR 9, in fact, a short discussion for 9 and 9C for 1920. You can take any questions if you are having for how the QRMP, or maybe the decision making. I think now it would be more clear. Let me see. There are some chats in chat box. I'll just. POS is different. This nature of business. Rishi, you are given nature of business question mark. What was that? Can you just repeat the question? You can unmute yourself, I guess. Rishi Agrawal. If someone has not, I'll take the next question in the meanwhile. If someone has not filed its returns from April, so can we take the credit in his returns, his or her returns for 1920? Because when the return is filed late, it is within September 20. I didn't get the question. For 1920, you mean to say that the return is filed in April 20. So if it is filed within September 20, due date of September 20, then yes, ITC for 1920 can be taken. It is only when the return has been filed beyond September 20, this won't be taken. In fact, interesting part, if you still have to fight out. Now, as I said earlier, that there is no way, I was not going to go in the legal aspects. But see, when you are saying this 20%, 10% or 5%, that is with the point when I as a recipient is been denied my right to claim my credit from my two. The original two which was there, which was designed, that was supposed to give me an option to claim the credits if my vendor has not filed a returns. Now, if at one end, if you are taking away my right, okay, if you're taking away my right to claim the return, claim the ITC, there is no question of you to do it. So this can be challenged at a very higher level, but I think we'll have to wait for the, what do you say, for a very high level. At smaller levels, it would be difficult that you go in for such litigation cost. So in such cases, what you can do, if the amount is really very sizable, that if you have missed it, that if you are having the other condition satisfied of 16, that is you are having your invoice properly, you have paid the vendor in time, he has filed a return, maybe with some delay, okay, you can always have an option to fight out. Okay? So in those cases, you can decide whether to take the credit or not. I personally, at least for 17, 18 and 18, 19, we were given this option. 1920, yes, we will try as far as possible that 10% and 20% criteria can be maintained. But if not, then we may go for the option of giving it as only a note in the audit report, rather than simply asking the clients to reverse it. Because see, as an auditor also for 9C, we are not the assessing officers. We cannot step into their shoes and ask them to take such actions. What maximum we can do is we can list out our observations, and these observations can always be taken up when the assessment is taking place. So when GST audits will be open for 2 years, 3 years, or any lot in the year, 5 years lot, so that time these points can always come into decision. If we have some favorable decisions by that time, then assessee can always have the option. Only thing you have to make aware the taxable person that if it doesn't happen, then they will not stop only for recovering the taxes. It is taxes with interest and penalty. So be aware. So it is a conscious decision which they will have to take in this. Okay. Accuracy. Let me check the question. Can we avail ITC more than 2B? Yes, as I said, the fields will become red. Nothing else. Nothing much to worry. When import IGST is not showing in 2B. So see, if it is not showing in 2B on a regular basis, then you need to contact the customs people so that they or make sure that your details are being updated properly. Because at least I have shown in our client's case, the import IGST figures have started coming properly in 2B with the proper port code and bill of entry details. Whether to avail ITC as per 2A or 2B, I would say more precisely 2B. Okay. ITC availment as per 2B means delaying credit to the recipient. Why, sir? not delaying credit to the recipient. So see, if your vendor is already filing the return in time, there is no question of delay. And otherwise also now when this 20% had started coming, so that particular portion of the credit which were not being available in your 2A, so they were not allowed to you, right? So as I said, last year when I spoke in all the 3 study circles of the Vasai branch, so that time I made this point, it is really difficult for one to track, but now they are giving you a system to track how much credit is available on the system. That means they are giving one confirmation that the one of the conditions of section 16 that their supplier has filed his return in time. Okay, I'll just read out. See, 16.2. Okay, subclause D. He has furnished the return under section 39. So 39 is clearly spelling about your timeline by which you have to file the return, right? The only issue which comes why you can go beyond that is that your statutory right to claim something, because they have taken away your right to claim that through 2. They have still not started a 2. It is just a viewing pattern. So that is the only thing where you can fight, but that happens on a very high quantum level, substantial level if you are doing. If you offer QRMP, then we have to calculate monthly payment liability and have to file IFF, and currently we are doing the same. That is calculating liability for 3B, GST and practical. What is the benefit of it? So the benefit of QRMP is that if any month, if there is no there is a nil return, then you can simply skip that. Still you don't have any liability. If you have a lot of TDS workings which are being left, okay, or maybe a practical issue, I know my liability is 100, but on the basis of previous month's 35%, it may come to only 20 rupees or 35 rupees, and I have cash flow issues. So I can go in for the QRMP. If I am in QRMP, I can simply pay 20 and I am still a compliant, tax compliant taxable person. Okay, but otherwise if I am in 3B, then I'll have to wait till I pay my complete 100 rupees, and then only I can file my 3B. So I become tax non-compliant. Plus, if I delay my filing of 3B, I will be having late fees also. So there are these very minuscule level, but you will have to go on the business aspects here, how the peculiar industry is working or the taxable person is functioning in whichever industry setup. So accordingly, you may take it. One may say that it is the same thing, but at the same time it is a different, like as I said, if I have certain bills out of say 10 lakhs, around 9 lakhs are very huge bills. I can use IFF to just only upload those 9 lakh bills, and the rest one, if it is, even if it gets skipped, I don't have any penalty unless and until I'm completing that in my quarterly returns. If someone has not filed its returns from operator, this question, yeah, I did not get again. It was for previous question. QRMP is better or old is better for supplier having turnover below. So yes, again, as I said, if supplier is having turnover below 1.5, as somebody rightly pointed out, if there are multiple B2C transactions, that means the other person really doesn't need to take credit. Okay, if a huge percentage, say 80-90% of your turnover is B2C, you can go for QRMP. So you can simply go for a quarterly filing. You can actually skip the filing of one and the payment options also. Second point, if you are having very huge 1 or 2 bills, so you can simply go on uploading those bills and other B2Cs or smaller invoices which they are least concerned. Okay, so in those cases also you can go for QRMP, so that at least your vendor gets his credit in time. If you are using the invoice punishing facility, you can upload those things, and the basic self-assessment whichever you are doing, you can pay in there. Okay, so it is on case to case basis which you are allowed to view, but general case scenario would be, look at the value of the invoices which you are raising and the quantum of credit which the recipient is going to lose if you are not uploading your returns in time. That should be the first criteria. Second criteria would be, if the assessee is completely mismanaged in accounting, maybe आज का दर्द कल के लिए हम pass on कर रहे हैं, but still they have some decent time, because see, at times doing the monthly calculations and charging them also is not feasible. So in such cases, okay, you reduce some fees, but at least your work pressure is also getting reduced. He would be also happy, ठीक है कुछ नहीं, because late fees तो नहीं लग रही है, so let him pay. Otherwise, whatever he suffers from the business is okay. And if at all it happens that some of his clients started pushing him that no, we won't pay you till we see the credit, then for the next quarter he has the option of coming back to the normal mode. So that is also not an issue. At the time of filing, some credit showing in 2A but not reflect. Personally, I would say showing in 2A means how can it come showing in 2A and not in 2B? Because 2B is really very specific, very accurate in what has been shown now and what has been filed in the current period. This question I'm not, but if it is a technical error, then yes. In fact, I'm saying see 5% is they have given, but otherwise also there is always an option of self-assessment. And if your self-assessment says that you can take more credit, then yes, of course you should do. Just because it is not available in the system, it has nothing to do with that. Can I offer QRMB scheme for 1 quarter and can change? Yes, for next quarter you will have to simply will have to do that in that particular period which has been given. That is 2 months prior to the start of quarter and 1 month when you are inside the quarter. Anything else on this particular aspect? Shall we move to the GST audit then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the presentation is similar to what was again I have done in all the 3 study circles of the Vasai branch. Just what are the few changes which have come in the current notifications? I have noted them, and maybe some of the other topics which I could list out. I will listed them. If anybody else any other points we can take up for discussion and come to some conclusion jointly in those cases. So this is again. I'll share the PPT, but objective of the audit, just again I'm repeating, we are here to do the audit, but not the assessment. So in case of audit, our major view is that the presentation of books, I mean the GST books, that means the reconciliation with your original books, should have a true and fair presentation of the GST law, a compliance with the GST law. If there are any differences of opinion, unlike our Maharashtra VAT 704, where the dealer had the option that not to accept the liability raised by the auditor, that is not specifically given here. So what you can do here is, and interestingly, GSTR 9 is a form which is exclusively of the taxable person. The auditor has no control over 9. He has the control only in 9C. And if he files something in 9 and which is reflected in his books of accounts, there will never be a reconciliation point. So you can never disclose what you really want to say. So in such cases, what we generally do to complete or to make sure that this is really the audit is happening in a true sense, we have these other attachments wherein we really give all the disclaimers client wise. It is specific, nothing in general, very specific point wise, 15, 20 points, whatever arise for each aspect, we give client wise that such factors have been considered, such factors have not been considered, and such other factors where there is a difference of opinion as per the taxable person and as per the auditor. This is our stand. This is the stand of the taxable person, and they have considered this particular aspect while filing their GSTR 9. And we write our UDIN number on this particular note, which has been uploaded along with the GSTR 9. So make sure it is the objective is been to verify this correctness and give your opinion on those basis. Okay, clear that objective is to ensure correctness of turnover declare. It is correctness of turnover declared, taxes paid, refund claim, and ITC availed in addition to compliances of the GST acts and rule. intent is that the compliance of GST law has to be confirmed by the GST audit. So of course it is on a broad level. I'm not saying on transaction to transaction level, but yes, on a broader level, we cannot skip with all these factors, and make sure you make correct disclosures when you are uploading the other aspects in 9C, other forms. This 5 crore thing has been extended. So this is, I think, by Rule 80 has been amended, notification 95. Notification 95 has extended the due date till 28. That is only 28 more days left, assuming tomorrow is holiday for all of us. And 83 has also been amended. The proviso there has been substituted that for 1920 also, if your aggregate turnover exceeds 5 crore, then only you will be required to file 9C. Otherwise, you need not file 9C. There is no removal of difficulty order as it was there in for 1718. 1718, if you remember, it was extended till the month of March to claim the credits, the due date of filing, which we had a discussion. So no such removal of difficulty order has come. If you have missed on your September 20, this is something really very harsh, because the due date of September itself was not extended much, and in that period, most of us have really not started our working. So many of you might have, or your clients might have missed on taking the credits for 1920, and this is a very important factor which we will have to see, because 2B might not be available for 1920 audits, but we will have to work upon our 2B when it is coming. So I don't know how humongous the task is, but maybe some of your softwares might help you, or some good functions of VLOOKUP and all. If you can get the updation dates into it, then you can go in for that. But this is an aspect which you will have to take. Technical glitches and all, this is okay. Yeah, this circular, again I'm repeating, circular 26 by 2017. So make sure it is still in your mind that any errors and omissions of 3B can be rectified in the next period. The circular is still valid till today. I don't know tomorrow's date, but as of today, it is still valid. So any errors and omissions in Form 3B can be rectified by the due date of the September return of the next year. So that is why if any cumulative actions you have taken in the 3B, now interestingly, they are allowing DRC 03 for all small purposes also. So 1920 should still be more streamlined, but still we will be having certain other mess that since it was skipped out in the earlier returns, 1718, it might have been shown in 1819 or even in 1920, because by that time you might have not actually filed your annual return or the DRC 0 through the DRC 03, the additional liabilities of 1718. So when you're finalizing your accounts and all, if you have paid any additional liabilities or you might have claimed the ITC, so that aspects will actually come here. So this reconciliation is equally important, and to identify if the assessor is taking them in time. I would say if materially they have deviated beyond the September, then it is your duty to disclose it. If materially it is really very low, negligible amount, then I think it is fair to skip, because ultimately you have to give a true and fair view, or you have to confirm a true and fair view of the books of accounts. But aggregate summary is required for you to show that the amounts are tallying till the end of the correction period. This I always tell in most of my lectures, that make sure that this term which is already provided in the Act is not overlooked. Non-declaration of facts, or in which a taxable person is required to declare in return statement, report, or any other document. Okay, so when you are given an opportunity, okay, like for the opportunity for GSTR 9 filing also, when it is below 2 CR, it is optional. They are making one provided statement there. There is a proviso which says that provided in such cases that whatever figures are available, it shall be deemed to be filed as on basis of those figures which are available in the court. So if you have done any mistakes, even if they are smaller taxable persons, audit is not applicable to them, or even filing of GSTR 9 is not applicable to them, make sure you still file the GSTR 9, because for small cases also such non-declarations can lead to suppression. Okay. Here. It shall be deemed to be furnished on the due date if it has not been furnished before the due date. Now, While filing 9, you have to make sure 1 and 3B everything is filed. ITC is not claimed. Okay, you will be given an option to pay through DRC 03. This was my last year's thing. So this amendment they have been carrying on in the current year also. Only thing, this aqua color, it is saying now they are given this one particular new aspects. So now they're saying that table 4, values pertaining to current FI shall only be reported. Values pertaining to preceding FI shall not be reported. Whether it is table 4 or 5, you can see it is the same thing, or even 6 or 7. So they are very well clear that this is only up to the current period. Now, what do you mean by current period? Like 4F, can this figure be negative? Because now we are in the third year. First year, this can be either positive or 0, right? Second year onwards, or we are in third year. Can this figure be negative? Any answers on this? Yes. Anybody? One chat box. Yes for services. No, I am asking only about F. Advances on which tax has been paid, but invoice has not been issued, which are not covered. So negative means, I mean to say, see, by default, this is minus F. If you're going in the next. See, advances are adding into your liability, right? Now, if you are having the opening advances, okay, and if they're adjusted already, then that will get adjusted in the table below. Okay, but if you are having the opening which are not adjusted and current year there are more reversals, then what should be done? So here what they are saying is that you use only the figures which are being there for the current period. So if you restrict yourself to the transactions in current period, just put those transactions, and then whatever difference is coming, you go and show that difference in your GSTR 9C. Because generally most of us have this view that our 9 and 9C or 9C should be, somebody has raised the hand, I don't know, the name is not there. 9 and 9C, there shouldn't be difference. In fact, I also follow the same thing, that I make everything clear, because the first option should always be given to the taxable person to clear all his views. And then later on, we can point out all the minimal differences, mere differences whichever are appearing, only those in the 9C. Okay, so can these figures be negative? So that can be negative provided you have transactions in the current period only. Don't take the transactions which are being carried forward from the previous year, and just because they are lying in your books as advances, you are showing it here. It should be only the current year transactions. Otherwise, use the 9C option to change them. Values pertaining. Otherwise, all these optional things and everything has been made similarly available as it was there for 17, 18, and 18, 19. Notifications were issued somewhere in by 15th of October to make these things available. This declaration has been changed for ITC 1920 onwards. So now they have changed. Earlier they were using the period, so they are writing here period specified and all. So they have made these things now open. So here for 8, if anything is not telling, you can upload in PDF in 9C without a CA certificate. So one of the attachment can be a reconciliation of 8. 2A doesn't really tally. Somebody had put this in 9. So you can use either the grievance option there, as well as just upload your PDF, because this is the optional part given here. So you can upload what according to you should be the correct 2A, because there are multiple 2As. One is 2A which is reflecting in Form 9. One is the 2A which is actually available to you on the portal. So if there is a mismatch, you start with one of them and you come to the conclusion. So you provide your reconciliation, either this 2A or the other. One chat question I will take it. Here. Tax payable and tax paid through cash. Okay. Now, interestingly, in case if you have paid any tax which is excess, okay, unlike our VAT form 704 where excess paid, they were giving an option, claim it as refund or carried forward to the next period. Okay, there's nothing such available here. Say for 17-18, your tax payable was totaling was 1 lakh and tax paid was 1,10,000 by mistake or anything, whatever it. So the 10,000 excess, you don't know what you have done it, or maybe in 18-19 that is the say. And some time ago I have referred to circular 26. So circular 26 says that next year you can adjust. So maybe next year within the due date of September you have adjusted that tax. So it may happen that for current year the tax payable is 1 lakh and tax paid is coming only 80,000, but at 20,000 was actually excess paid of previous period. So you have nowhere that option to disclose that when you're doing only 9. Even if you're doing 9C, there you can disclose in the other observations. But you can simply keep like this with a difference, make a note of it, make a reconciliation, try and file that reconciliation to the department if possible, preferably either by hand with acknowledgement due that such and such was a reconciliation. So you can refer that circular 26 again in detail. It's available on the website. And all the cases are given how you have to make the reconciliation on cumulative. It's kind of cumulative reconciliation for the period in which the settlement of the excess is happening. Okay, this is part 5, transactions of previous FY but paid in Form 3B between April to September. So when they mean April to September, that is due date of September. If registered person decides to report either availed or reversed in next year 3B for transaction for current year reporting, it has to be reported. So here only some confusion some may have is reversal of ITC availed during the previous financial year. Means previous financial year is not that when you are considering 19, not of 18-20 and 19 which you have done in 19-20. It is for 19-20 which you are doing in the next period 2021. It is April 20 to September 20. This is for 19-20. If you are doing the reversals in April 20 to September, then only it will come here. It is not at 18-19 which you have reversed in your 3Bs of. That has nothing. It is again reporting will be only in relation to the transactions of the current financial year. So some may have this query. I was asked this not on this particular study circle, but in general I had these queries. So just to clarify. In fact, you can always refer to this, I think, circular number 56 of 2019. Okay, so that you can always refer, which would be handy, or the instructions of this part. Because if you go by the mere language of what is given in the form, one may get confused. What is rest all the form seems similar. In fact, in 9C also no other changes. The form has been carried forward. They have done those necessary changes which was required. So I would say that make sure you have a look into previous year 9 and 9C and list out all items which are giving carried forward effect. Okay, as I discussed, one of which was the excess payment of taxes and all, or audited returns, but were neither allowed to be specifically disclosed to be carried forward, not brought forward. Then you start with the books of audited books of accounts, reconcile with GST returns filed, whichever is there. If you are having the figures net of credit notes and debit, keep that way. If you have further breakups available, then you can not exercise that option and go on disclosing as much ever things you want to disclose. And if there is a difficulty in line-wise item breakup, then simply skip the optional tables, but make sure you communicate your justifications or explanation to safeguard your as well as the registered taxable person's interest during assessment and litigation. So where should you disclose this? It is in the other options, other attachments. This was a quick run here. Thank you on this part. Anything else? We still have some 5-10 minutes to go for the close of the session. Any questions? Any notification for optional? I think it was 84. Just let me check.
Sir, everybody understood so well. No questions.
Yeah, thank you. Just 1 minute. Let me check that notification. See, one is 56 by 2019. That was last year, which made the things applicable. And current year, just let me. I have removed them. It is 77, I guess. 77. I'll do one thing. I'll just share that with Nikunj. I downloaded it, but notification I'll share it with Nikunj. So it is carrying forward everything. Means those optional things. It is the same which were there for 17, 18, and 18, 19. They have specifically given it for 19, 20 also. Table 13 and table 8C. Is there any difference? So let me open the table. You're saying GSTR 9, table 13 and table 8C. This is table 8, table C, ITC on inward supplies received during 17-18, or you can say ITC on inward supplies received during the financial years, but availed in next financial year up to the period specified. Okay, so it is yeah, so 8C and 13, I think you are saying this point, ITC availed for pay. So these are actually the same things only. Okay. Only thing 8, it really becomes, it is a reconciliation with 2A, while 13 is a reconciliation with 3B. Okay, so 13 you will be actually reconciling not with 8, but here this table 6, because this is your reconciling with your 3B, right? 6-1, whatever you have taken. So whatever is left out in the next year will come in your 13. But 8 is merely a reflection of your two-way. They're just making a match. But 8 is as such not a mandatory table. It was neither there earlier also. So what we have done for last 2 years is that we make our own format for 8. We start with 2A. We compare that with books, and whatever is the difference as per our 2A which we have done. So our 2A, what I mean, the 2A which we have downloaded on the website, we do a time log of that. This is the date on which it is done, and we just take that as the base. So if tomorrow for assessment also we'll say this, since this was a dynamic statement, this is a statement from which we have done the reconciliation. Any other question? I think we can stop. For 1920 also reconciliation with 2A, that is that table 8 is still optional. That means you can still give that additional information in the table attached as an additional address. Not an issue. I think we can conclude the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. I'm sure our members enjoyed this interactive session. And before we proceed for formal vote of thanks, I welcome our immediate past convener, Bhinder CP Study Circle, CA Amit Agarwal ji. Welcome, Amit ji. Amit ji, over to you. I think some technical issue is there.
Madam.
All right. Now I request CA Sheetal Sharma to present formal vote of thanks to our today's speaker for this amazing session. Sheetal, over to you.
Akash, please unmute Sheetal.
Sheetal, are you there?
Apparently, Sheetal is not
Technical-
able to connect.
Yeah.
Corona has come. Corona will be going now. Vaccines have come, but Zoom connectivity issues are still to be solved. I take this opportunity. I guess Sheetal is not able to connect. Madam? Oh, yes. Yeah. You need to unmute yourself, Sheetal, madam.
I think there is a voice connectivity issue over there. Her voice is not coming. She is unmuted herself, but her voice is not reaching us.
No problem. Our convener sir will present formal vote of thanks. Nikunj bhai, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sheetal, madam, sorry, I have to take your role here. Thank you so much, Gauravji, for this fantastic session. I guess you will be able to read the comments from members already. They have started rolling in. People have liked the session a lot. It was very well explained. Thank you for your time and for your knowledge. As I said before the session, members, I was sure that you will be having a lot of takeaways from this session. I stand by my words. And this has been definitely proved right by Gauravji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gauravji, again. And thanks to all the members. Please take care. Members, our next session, as you all know, is tomorrow, 11 a.m. So please do not forget to log in on time. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ritu madam.
Thank you, Nikunj bhai. Thank you so much. Thank you, members, for making this session such a successful session. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you.
Gauravji.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Take care.